Glad that you're here. And what we're going to be talking about today is a subject that's near and dear to my heart, and that's mixing up your channels in what is known now as the post-digital age. So really what it comes down to is that I, amongst a lot of other professional marketers, have believed that marketers such as myself have kind of fallen into the trap of recycling our digital methods over and over and over. And that's creating kind of a numbing behavior for buyers, and we're just lulling them into a slow digital death. And so, I believe that in this new world that we're in, we need to come up with new ways of mixing up our channels to really reach customers where, how, and when they want to be reached. And so in this presentation, I hope to kind of unpack those like new healthy habits that we can do as marketers in this post-digital age. I'm a professional marketer and consultant, and I've been working in marketing for over 15 years. Went to school for it, the whole thing. And I now also do consulting as well. I'm what I like to call a marketing evangelist. So I'm a person who just super believes in marketing and wants to help companies build their marketing foundations and work for companies that really believe in what marketing can do to help drive business. It's often there's that moniker for the sales team that they get to ring the gong when they make a sale, or they're keeping the lights on. Well, marketing helps with those things. I always like to picture when somebody is physically ringing a gong in the sales department that I have my hand on that mallet too as I'm hitting it, because without marketing, nothing in the company can function. So I'm a firm believer in marketing, and I like to evangelize it wherever I can. I'm also an author, speaker, and podcaster. So my first book, called The Marketing Starter, will actually be coming out this fall. It is being edited and going to print as we speak. And then I also speak, example of what I'm doing here, wherever I possibly can. And hopefully we'll be doing more events in person. And then podcaster, and Renee actually shared the link to my podcast, which is called The Marketing Starter Podcast. I hope you guys can check it out afterward if you're not tired of hearing me speak. But it's a podcast where I interview marketing thought leaders from all over the world on how they can apply an entrepreneur, or how they do apply an entrepreneurial spirit to what they do in marketing that has led to their success. So it's pretty cool. I've interviewed some really neat people. And lastly, I'm a startup founder. So there's a few companies here, Local Bound, Curb Ninja, Pitch Training Camp, and then obviously my own consulting group. These are all companies that I have actually worked on and founded. So I am a marketer by trade, an entrepreneur by heart. I love technology, and I love marketing, and trying to marry those, because I believe, again, that marketing, or that startup founders and startup companies can't exist and can't move forward at all unless they have a good footing in their marketing. So that's who I am, and who I've marketed for in the past. I've worked for Tickets Now, which is now part of Ticketmaster. I led their email marketing. I've worked for Dialpad on a global scale, running their global partner marketing. Tribune Media Group, which is a huge media company based here in the United States. Rockbot, which is a media for business company. I ran their entire marketing department. And then I also worked for Vendini, which is part of Audience View, where I ran their channel marketing. So I've kind of dabbled in a lot of different industries, but I've used a lot of similar tactics in all of those, and especially on the digital side, and learned a lot of how digital is evolving. So what I want you guys to actually learn today is, number one, what it means to be post-digital. And some of you may have heard this term, maybe some of you haven't, but either way, it's something that I want you to understand what that concept is, in case somebody is talking about it, and then you can kind of learn to apply it from there. So then I want you to also learn like how digital marketing has evolved over time. From the very grassroots beginnings of where digital marketing was to what we are doing and what we need to be doing today. And then lastly, I'll share some tactics with you that you guys can actually use today when you're done with the presentation. I think it's super important for you to be able to walk away with some things from everything that you learn in these sessions that you can actually apply. But lastly, I want you guys to get excited. You're here to learn. You're here to actually be a part of something great, and you're here to take that next step in your career. So why not get re-excited about what you're doing in digital marketing? Now, here's a great quote that is actually from Paul Daw, the Accenture CTIO, when he was talking about what post-digital is. And he said, a post-digital world doesn't mean that digital is over. On the contrary, we're posing a new question. As all organizations develop their digital competency, what will set you apart? And so the good news is that post-digital doesn't mean that digital is dead or digital is over. It's a different way of looking at, or a new lens that we can apply to our digital marketing. And I think the biggest problem that we're actually trying to unpack here is that our digital marketing right now is just having a vastly weak impact on consumers. 88% of our consumers say that just digital advertising has little to no impact anymore on their purchasing decisions. It's just becoming white noise. It's falling into the background. I mean, this is like a staggering number if you think about it, right? I mean, why are we spending all of this time, all this effort on our spend, on our campaign builds, on everything that we do, when 88% of these people are like, yeah, so what? We don't care. So I guess the question comes down to, what can we do, and what can we uncover here that's going to help us make a better impact? I mean, and if I'm just being honest, nowadays digital is just too damn boring, you guys. It's like this girl falling asleep in school. Like you're being bombarded with ads all the time. I mean, think about it from your personal experience. You're constantly hit with ads, whether it's on social media, whether that's on websites, whatever. You're just constantly being pressed with digital advertising, with digital outreach, no matter what it is. I mean, even me as a professional marketer, if I look at my inbox every morning of all of the emails and promotions that I've been receiving, either on LinkedIn or my email, whatever, it's just boring me to digital death. And we have to think about that and recognize that as marketers. I mean, I ache in it to kind of like what it looks like to be driving down a freeway and just seeing billboard after billboard after billboard after billboard. And we just become numb to those. We don't even look at them anymore, right? But imagine when you were the first billboard that went up alongside a highway. You really stood out and everyone's staring like, look at that giant sign as you're driving by. But nowadays it's just white noise. So, I ache in it to digital has kind of become what these ads along the freeway are looking like. And it's just something that we have to understand as marketers, and we have to figure out a better way of reaching these customers. And that's kind of what post-digital is. And so, what the hell is post-digital? Well, number one, we have to understand that digital is the norm. It's no longer a differentiator, right? Doing digital is just what we need to do as marketers. It's not something that I could say like, oh, I have this great campaign mix, and we're going to be leveraging digital, and it's going to really set us apart. And it's like, no, that doesn't really set you apart anymore. Whether you're interviewing for a job or coming into a company with the expectations of thinking that's going to make you different, or you're on the customer side of it, and you're seeing a digital ad from a company. It's not different. It's just totally the norm. I guess that's what leads to that digital marketing is just marketing today. Like, why do we even call it digital marketing anymore? We actually rely on digital probably much more than anything else. And I think that's kind of what's led to this digital stagnation as of recent. And so, I'm actually surprised even when I see like, job postings for a digital marketing specialist. It's like, that's just a marketing specialist. Like everyone should have digital marketing chops at this point. Digital is just part of our lives as marketers. That's just what marketing is, or what marketing has become. And then customers today have become very entitled, right? The customer experience is king. There's a reason why we have customer success departments that are focused on making sure customers succeed when they're onboarded. There's a reason why ABM has become so important and so vast, especially in enterprise world. It's because customers are expecting us to cater to them. So that's something that we look for, we can look at in a post-digital realm. And the digital distinction itself has dissolved, right? So, what is the difference between advertising on social media or general display or search or whatever? Like, we're getting those same messages all over the place. So like the distinction in messaging has just become dissolved as well. And digital insights, however, from all of this have been fueling our business strategies. So let's say like kind of like on the converse of this is because we have so much great data that's available to us, and how we connect all of our digital efforts into our CRM or whatever we're doing with it. We have some great insights that actually fuel that strategy. And that's leading us to how our organizational culture is shifting to better meet customer needs. And because we now have a better understanding of what those customer needs actually are, and we can kind of get ahead of them. And so we can shift our organizations to meet them. So that in a nutshell is some of the elements that are kind of leading to this post-digital movement. And so post-digital is the humanistic approach to solving problems, or AKA marketing, because that's what we as marketers do, right? We're here to solve problems, but we're doing it with in a humanistic way. And so that theme of being humanistic, you'll see that actually throughout my presentation. And it's something that's really, really important. And it's one of the things that is like one of the main pillars of post-digital. And so just to talk about the digital evolution for a minute, if you guys will humor me. So pre-digital here, I've got purpose scope, dimensions, insight sources, tech outlooks, and measurement goal. And this evolution has kind of changed over time, right? The purpose to create one-way communication. It was just get your message out, kind of like the billboard, like here it is. I hope you see it. This is it. Come by, right? And the scope was media management. So just like the billboard, I would have to go out and buy that from an ad agency. And then the dimension of insight would be more of like a segment definition. It's like, oh, well, where is the best place to actually place this billboard or this ad? And then the insight sources were coming from third-party panels. And maybe you guys have been in a focus group before. It's just like, hey, did you see this billboard on the street? Oh, you did. What did you think of it? Oh, okay. Did it have an impact? Did you buy? And you'd have to like actually go out and get that from a third party. And then as far as like how tech outlooks were in pre-digital, it was like all about, I don't need tech. The bus ads, benches for real estate agents. You'd see those a lot in small towns in the United States. Like the real estate agents actually put their faces and their phone numbers on benches at bus stops. Maybe they were like, I don't need tech. That works really well. And the main measurement goal was just brand awareness. It's like, hey, are people seeing that ad, and are they talking about me? And that's kind of where we were in the pre-digital realm. And some people still do that, right? And then today in the digital realm, we're actually looking to inspire interactive dialogues. And I think companies have done a really great job of this. So it's no more just one-way communication. It's like, hey, can we get talking with each other? Can I share a piece of information with you and you share back? And we get the actual conversation going. And then the scope has moved into that digital and mobile engagement, which I think we're all like very keen on and have done a really great job at doing. And then moving on from segment definition, we're now focused on customer identity. It's, what is that ideal customer profile? And we can actually target those people with digital and get a tailored message to them, right? And then insight sources, click, session activity, engagement, all of those great metrics that we look at as digital marketers. And then we come to understand in digital, as far as the tech outlook, is that we look at it supporting our marketing operations. And so for those of you that might be in the marketing ops team, right, you guys have a heavy lift job. Like you're responsible for managing the funnel and how it works and how people are flowing from our ads into our CRM and then back out and around and around. That's what it's all about. And then obviously the measurement goal in digital is the campaign results. But in a post-digital world, we're looking to solve customer needs through brand experience. And I think that's something that a lot of companies are really starting to understand and grow into. And offering a true experience for the customer gets them to, have that trust, have that human experience, and gets them to buy from you and then be a brand advocate for you, as opposed to just having a basic conversation. And then as far as the scope, every way a customer can experience the brand is the scope. So is that in person? Is that over the phone? Is that interacting with you in social media? Is it chatbots? And it goes on and on and on and on and on and on. So every way that a human can actually interact. I mean, personally, one of the things that I love doing is I love being able to actually have text conversations with vendors and their and having that responsiveness in there, or doing if I have a customer service question, jumping onto a chat. It's so much better and easier for me than doing something over the phone, but that's just like how I prefer to do it. And then as far as insight resources. Oh, sorry, I skipped it. This dimension of insight is actually the customer motivation, right? So how motivated is that customer to buy, to get upsold, to refer, and to go through the cycle over and over and over. And then insight resources, contextual data, right? So kind of taking that next level and like looking at the data in context to like the operation that we're performing in marketing. And then looking at technology as it's an integral part of the experience development, not just making sure that we're properly aligning all of our funnel through marketing automation and marketing ops, but it's actually enabling that experience for the customer. And then the measurement goal really at the end of the day is the business impact, right? Like how is that changing? How are we taking what we're doing in this post-digital world and making changes to the business to better accommodate what our customers want and how we do our marketing. So it's not just like, oh, the campaign did great. It's like, okay, well, let's look at that campaign at a higher level and see how and what we're doing is impacting the business as a whole. And so this is a great, this title on this slide is a great slogan. It's actually from a book called The Marketing Rebellion. And the subtitle is The Most Human Company Wins. And if you guys haven't picked up that book, I suggest that you pick that one up. It's a fantastic read. It's all about how consumers control the show, right? Or our buyers control the show. And it's marketing is changed because of this rebellion that customers are driving. And part of that rebellion output is post-digital. And so whoever is the most human with their customers, with their prospects, are actually going to be the company who wins. And so the number one thing to think about is how we can be human in everything that we do. And that's being personable, that's building trust, that's figuring out ways of actually connecting with prospects and connecting with customers. You know, we want to have a human persona in the way that we market. You know, we don't want to be selfish to our prospects, or the people who are reading our advertising. You know, we understand that their time is valuable too. It's really connecting with people on that one-to-one and that human level and respecting the fact that they're human. And that will help to drive trust. The second is to be helpful. And that is to give help wherever you can, even if it's outside of the scope of your business. Even if someone is maybe talking to a sales rep and they're like, yeah, I mean, your service sounds really great, but we're looking for something that does this. You might be like, well, hey, here's some other great tools to get you started. And I would love to talk to you when you're ready, right? So like they might go, wow, that was really great. You actually referred me to some sort of competitive tool. And maybe that's not great business sense, and salespeople out there would scratch their eyes out, but you were being helpful and they will remember that and maybe they'll come back. And that's just one example, but being as helpful as possible is what we need to do. And then lastly, we want to also be handy. So that means we want to be easy to work with. You know, I think sometimes when we're building our businesses and we're supporting it through marketing, you know, we can get lost in the minutia and make things complicated for our customers, complicated for our prospects. Maybe even our marketing campaigns can be complicated, but we want to simplify things to be as handy as possible to our prospects, to our customers. And, you know, those are the things that are going to help us win. And, you know, these three things are actually, these are actually three rules that Forrester Research had come up with that are like the three key rules for post-digital marketing. So you can actually go and find there's a Forrester report where these are in there if you feel so inclined to buy their report and check it out. So one of the big things that is an issue, right, is that we're falling short of customer expectations. And with our digital presences today. And you know, there's actually a couple of great points here I want to cover from a Salesforce report on customer engagement that they did. And they actually found that 68% of customers expect brands to deliver empathy to them, right? Like to connect with them, to have that human experience, to understand where they're coming from. 68% of customers today are expecting that, like they want it. However, only 37% of customers feel like they're getting it. That's a huge gap between, right? So 68% are like, I expect that today. I expect when I'm being prospected to. I expect when I'm in the nurturing process. I expect when I'm onboarded and I'm working with my CS team to get launched, that everything that the company does needs to have empathy toward my situation. But only 37% are actually feeling like they're getting it. So I think there's a huge gap there where, again, if we can just be helpful, if we can be human, if we can be handy, we're going to exceed those customer expectations and grow that 37% and hopefully meet that 68 as we get there. And then 66% of customers expected that companies companies should understand their unique needs, right? Because not all customers are the same. They don't all come out of the same box. They're all going to have a unique use case. Some will be very similar, but some may use your product in different ways, and that's something as marketers we need to understand. And if we're in product marketing, that's our job. So 66% of those customers expect the companies to understand their unique needs, but only 34% feel like companies actually do. So again, a huge place for us to grow. And I think that there's a great opportunity there, again, for us to think more human and work with our product marketing team to really develop messaging that then we can use in the digital sphere to get that message out and share, like, hey, we understand where you're coming from. We have that empathy. We understand that you have unique needs that need to be addressed, and we're here to customize our solutions for you to the best of our ability, or at least understand that and then work toward that and see how we can help you and be more consultative. So we're falling short of customer expectations, and that's leading to this dullness in our digital approach. But I think those are some big things that we can change right away. Now, as far as tracking conversations go, I think this is some interesting stuff in digital trends, right? In 2019, 71% of customers used multiple channels when actually having conversations and going through the funnel. And now last year it was up to 74%, right? So it's continuing to grow. And as far as ones that used multiple devices, so maybe, in the multiple channels example, maybe they were using your website, maybe they were using a chatbot, maybe they were using email. But then on the other side of this, we have using multiple devices. And so maybe again, I mentioned I use my phone when I'm just to do text messaging, when I'm checking with my account managers, or maybe they're jumping over to their computer and they're doing chat. They're using multiple devices as well. And so we continue to be more channel agnostic. So we need to be more broad in our marketing and how we're actually funneling those conversations. And then same thing with devices. We're becoming more and more device agnostic as well, as customers. So, a lot of this stuff can be really common sense because, you guys are customers of a lot of things too. And you can just think about, oh yeah, right. When I went and checked on this new tool I wanted to roll out to help with my marketing efforts, I had a conversation on the website, then I took it to email, I had a phone call, I was using all of these different places. So that leaves an opportunity for us as marketers to reach them in those places. And it also leaves an opportunity for the business to see that they can actually have connect with people in those places too, and improve that customer experience across the board. So as far as top digital marketing trends, based on some research that I did and some of the things that I do, that are really focused on a post digital methods, I wanted to share those with you guys. So these are some of the things that you guys can do some more research on, see if it makes sense for your business, and start doing them today if you're not already doing them. So number one is personalization and customer experience. So if you're able to personalize anywhere you can in your marketing and really create a great experience on it, help not only just sending a nurture email to someone who fills out a form, explaining all the great things that you're doing. Maybe it's asking questions. Maybe it's customizing those automated emails based on their business type. Maybe it's having specific messaging for that type of customer on their business size. So personalizing it as much as possible is a huge trend today, and I think that it goes without saying. I mean, how many of us do our email marketing today, and we make sure to have the token, hi, first name, right? There's the ground level personalization, just putting someone's name in there. But you can go a little bit further with all of the data that we've been collecting over time, and with the amazing tech stack tools that we have to take that one step further. And then this should also go without saying, right? Video content is king today. Where are people spending most of their time? They're spending most of their time on their mobile devices. And then when they're on their mobile devices, where are they looking? Well, they're looking at news, they're looking at YouTube, but most of the time, what grabs people's attention is video. And we also have to think about the generational aspect of that. I give a presentation as well about how businesses need to adapt to the Gen Ys, the millennials, which I'm a part of, and the Gen Zs, which are the younger adults that are kind of coming of age now. And there's a gap between how those people take in content, and the Gen Zs are all about video. They don't want to read articles. They don't, you may have the best blog in the world that has the clearest, catchiest messaging, that has these great learnings, and they're going to go, so what? Show me a video. I want to see a video. So when those people become decision makers, we have to think about, okay, what is a great video content that we can create to reach these people? And then obviously AI and machine learning are a huge part of our marketing trends too. There's a lot of predictive things that we can do with AI to really understand who a business is and what they want. And then obviously using things like machine learning and really nerding out to apply those things to our marketing automation and to our digital tactics are becoming very prominent as well. And then voice engagement, podcast, and again, it's that type of content. It's people want to watch, they want to listen. Podcasts are through the roof. Some really successful companies leverage podcasts as a great way of capturing new business. Having little snippets of voice engagement as much as possible. That type of rich media are the things that are really going to help you be, again, more post-digital. B2B influencer marketing, we see this is obviously huge in consumer, but believe it or not, B2B is also really huge too. I remember when I was working at Dialpad, they actually went out and hired a guy. He was called what was he called? He was called the enterprise sales guy or something. And he was like just this total sales bro. I know that's what he was called, the enterprise sales bro. He was a sales bro, for lack of a better term, right? And he just had a great social media presence where he just went out and talked about all the great things that all these other that these companies that he works with are doing. Dialpad hired him. He came in, did some great reviews, did a day in the life, walking around the office, all of that stuff, and was a key influencer in driving business as well. So that actually can be done in B2B, which is kind of funny to think about. But again, something that's taking the digital to the next level and creating a conversation, making it more personal. And then conversational selling. And so this is something that I think we as marketers, our sales team, to be more involved in. And that's like, how do we actually have a conversation to understand our customers' needs, not just, be like, hey, this is what we do, this is how we can help you. It's like, do you really know how you can help that prospect? It's all about having that conversation. And that can actually start with, some simple digital marketing tactics to get that conversation going. It's asking questions, it's surveys, it's getting input, and then building a conversation off of it. Visual and interactive content, I think those things, again, go without saying. And you guys are probably doing a lot of these, but, if we can be more interactive, like on our websites, in our advertising, those are the things that are going to set us apart. At one of the companies I worked for recently, we actually had a 3D model of an office space that the product was 3D modeling, and we said, okay, well, can we create one that people can actually go around and use their mouse and turn it around and play with it and actually see what this 3D model looks like? And so they're actually getting kind of a sneak peek of what they could possibly be buying, and it was interactive, and they could play with it and move things around. It was kind of like a video game, and they loved it. They ate that stuff up because they're actually seeing what the product looks like before they buy.